Lady Law, I am so excited to have the chance to chat with you. I've listened to you for years on the radio, and just congratulations on all your success. Can't wait to get into this during this interview with you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
So for those who have been living under a rock, haven't heard your voice for the past 15 years here in the Valley, tell us a little bit about yourself, your passions, all of it.
I'm a Valley girl. I grew up here, born and raised, and my family has island roots, so that's where a lot of my business mindset and some of my ideas came from. But I grew up here, much like Mike from State 48, and that's something that we have in common. And as he was kind of getting his blueprint rolling for State 48, we became friends, and we both kind of have that entrepreneur spirit. So a lot of times throughout the process, I would kind of call on Mike and be like, hey, Mike, what are you guys working on? How are you guys expanding? And how can I implement some of those things in some of the ideas that I have? So he's really been like, guiding light is real extra, so we're not going to call it that. But
like a brother sense, right?
A brother I never wanted throughout the whole process. It's been really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you've been here in the Valley, like we said, for 15 years, a voice and a face here. What about entertainment and this business? Why did you want to get into it?
I did not. I actually was just trying to, in high school, worked at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge. And I was like, I'm going to, travel the world and get cheap hotel rooms and be a lady in a suit and tell people what to do in the hotel industry. And once I went to ASU, I got into event planning, things like this. And I was like, this is probably not for me. And I struggled through my finance classes. And I just decided, you know what, I should do something for fun. And I took an internship at a radio station because I enjoyed the music they played. And it was a non-paid internship, and they didn't let me leave. And 6 months later, I ended up on a morning radio show. I'm all telling my parents, like, hey, I'm going to be on the radio. And they're like, for what? And I was all, so I don't have to take out a student loan. That's for what? And so I just decided to see where that path would take me, and it ended up taking me to incredible places. So I would just say that I'm somebody who entertainment chose me. I did not choose it. I probably would have still been, working for the city of Phoenix or working in a hotel had it not picked me out of the crowd.
Well, I'm sure you have some pretty amazing moments and memories from that. I mean, I was scrolling through your Instagram, I'm not going to lie, I saw J-Lo on there. I had to take a deep breath. So I'm sure you have some great memories and stories that you can share with us from your times.
Oh, God, there's so many. It's been a lot. I mean, it's embarrassing to say how long I've been in the game, but I've been super grateful, and I kind of grew up with some of my favorite artists, so that's been nice. There's a lot of artists now that are huge, like Bruno Mars or Wiz Khalifa, or who were friends of mine when we were all coming up together. So it's nice to see some of your friends on stage accepting a Grammy. Or one time I was like backstage at the arena for Kanye's birthday party, and he was hitting a piñata backstage.
No big deal.
And, just selfies with Rihanna, lightweight. Muhammad Ali came by, touched my shoulder. It's fine.
It's fine.
But just I find myself in all these random scenarios, and I definitely attribute all of that to being on air here and the support of my hometown. So it's really cool.
So what has that meant to you, just being able to be born and raised here in Arizona and be a voice here in the Valley?
Everything. It's my livelihood. I never take it for granted. I think that's one of the keys to the success I've been able to experience, is that I don't forget where I come from. I'm reminded every day, and I still don't listen to myself on the radio. It's weird. I that was never my goal. I never tried to put myself on a platform. I really feel like my community did that for me, and I owe everything to the Valley. And I say that repeatedly, which is why I would name my company Mahalo, which is, gratitude.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that, why you decided to get into entrepreneurship, and you have that spirit, that passion you said, and your roots, but why did you decide to take the leap there?
I don't know. I think we're all a little bit off. Like everybody who wants to start something, you're just a little bit on the outside. You're kind of an outlier, and you just want to see how much you can push yourself and where you can take your visions. And so for me, I was just like, I think this is the next step. I owe so much to my community for giving me this platform. How else can I serve my community? And I took that literally, and I was just like, I'm going to create something that I think is delicious and beautiful, and I want to be in this window, and I want to be in this trailer, and I want to deliver that to all of the people who have been supporting me this whole time. They've allowed me to dream. They've allowed me to have these visions and this creativity. And so I felt like this was the best thing to do, was to get in the community and serve. So I didn't want to just own something and tell somebody to run it, you know? It's like,
and
I had
serve
to do it.
delicious shaved ice.
No, it's bomb.
It's
Like,
the
I
bomb.
forget all the time. Like, I'm like, why don't I eat one every time I'm in here? What's my problem? But we're super busy, so.
So how did that idea come up? Shaved ice of all things. Why go that route?
Well, again, I have roots in the islands of Hawaii, so it was like, okay, we're gonna do that. And here we have weather for it.
Yeah.
Like 90% of the time. It's not what?
Even in the fall.
Yeah, what's a fall? We don't even have that anymore. So it was just, it made sense. And I felt like there was a hole in the market for, you know, there's ice cream. We know where to go for that. You know, everyone has their favorite, this shop or that shop, but we don't really have like a local shave ice place here. And I felt like I could do it right, and I could do it in a way that is not familiar to Arizona, so I could bridge the gap between Hawaii and being a native here, and really just pour my passion into that and share some of those flavors and create family memories and have it be a place where you would take your kid, or you have a relative visiting from out of town, because we all do here, and just be like, you gotta go to this place. When you come to Arizona, you have to go to Mahalo, Maine. And that's the type of thing that we're trying to do with my brand.
What has been the response now? Is it 2 years now that you've had it
It's
open?
been 2 years. We'll be going on our third, and we're working on a storefront currently, because we were just busting at the seams prior to COVID, of course. And the response has been overwhelming. I cried opening night. I cried my face off because I just didn't. So many times throughout the process, you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you're like, am I crazy that I'm still pursuing this after all of these things? And once you cross that finish line, which is also just the beginning of another race, you know, you just feel so much relief and so empowered in yourself, and you learn to trust yourself. And the biggest highlight is just seeing kids run up to the trailer, and moms and dads take pictures of their kids in front of the trailer. And I've gotten the biggest compliment, which is people who say they've spent a long time in line and they enjoyed the music and the atmosphere, and they felt like everybody was so friendly. And, you know, people have left reviews and comments saying that was one of the best weekends I've had with my family, because we just sat and we talked and we hung out, and I hung out with my brother, or I brought my kids or my best friend. And those are the things that hit my heart the biggest. And they always say it was worth it. So I'm like, it makes me feel good that all around they're feeling that aloha spirit, that spirit that my family has.
I think a common theme with small businesses, you feel that family feel anywhere you go. It just feels connected. Why is it then important to support small businesses, especially in our community?
It's what gives us the fabric of community, and it's what gives us, you know, colorful things, colorful sidewalks, colorful murals, different types of food and music. It's what makes everything unique. And I really strive, and I think COVID has really exposed that in all of us, how important supporting those businesses are, because if not, you lose them. And it's so much, you know, I don't think it was really highlighted in the way that it has been until now, because we saw some of those places close, and we just kind of always thought, well, they'd always be there. And so now more than ever, it's just important to create stories that'll be lasting for future generations. And you can only do that by supporting these mom and pop businesses like mine, like State 48, you know. And so I feel really good to be on the forefront of that, and grateful to have survived COVID.
Yes, thank God for that. And you and Mike put together an event prior to COVID, something special that you guys can do together and collaborate. What has his partnership, or State 48's partnership, meant to you?
It's been great to have his support, especially early on, because, you know, a lot of us were behind Mike when he was starting his stuff. So for Mike to be able to say, whatever you need, law, whatever, you know, State 48's got you, we're behind you. I brought this concept of Mahalo Market together, and basically we bring together local businesses, people who I handpick that I feel are the very best at what they do and what they create, and we create a market and an experience for the community that is at no cost to the small business, which is unheard of.
Wow.
9 times out of 10, every vendor has to pay for their spot, and then they'll usually have to owe a percentage to the event of their sales. And I was like, you know what? I want to not complain about that business model. A lot of people work and survive and thrive in that, but I want to create something that is truly community-based and really highlights all of these small businesses. I have this platform, I have this media background. How can I bring them all together in the same place and let them go home sold out? And the event that we did with State 48 here in the parking lot, every vendor sold out. There wasn't anybody who went home with anything. And for me to see their faces and for them to go home empty and their pockets full, and them come up to me out of routine, go, okay, how much do I owe you? I'm like, you don't owe me anything. You did all the work. Take your money and go home. You know, mahalo for coming together today and sharing what you do with the community. And Mike was like, we're all in. And so we sold out our shirts that day. We sold out our sticker packets that day. And the event was just a huge success. And we were working on something else, but you know,
Yeah.
so hopefully next year.
Yes, hopefully next year. That's amazing. Well, how can people support you, find you?
Instagram, Mahalo made it, because Mahalo made somebody is sitting on that. So Mahalo made it. That's not actually our name. Sometimes people think Mahalo made it's our name, but it's at Mahalo made it, and we post our times and locations there, and you can look forward to a store opening in 2021.
Ooh, tell us more about that before.
I cannot.
We cannot. Ooh, okay, secrets.
But you can follow us on IG and find out for yourself, because we'll definitely post up there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.